Today's math lesson is about multiplicative comparisons. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to compare multiplication comparison statements. For today's lesson, you're going to need your math notebook, math journal, and a pencil. If you don't have those materials with you, please pause the video and collect them. Once you have your notebook, you're going to open up to the table of contents. Today's date is 11/4 of 2020. For your topic, you're going to write comparison statements. Then you will write down your page number, whatever one is correct for you. Then turn to your first blank page. Take a look at the math message. You're supposed to look at the ribbons and then read the statement given. I notice we have Eve's ribbon and Maxine's ribbon. The statement that's being made is that Eve's ribbon is shorter than Maxine's ribbon. If you have a ruler at home with you, measure the two ribbons in centimeters and write 2 or more statements describing how the lengths compare. If you don't have a ruler at home, I want you to take a look at the pictures. What do you notice about the difference between Eve's ribbon and Maxine's ribbon? Pause the video to write your statements. Use your notebook to write your statements in. If you had a ruler, you would notice that Eve's ribbon is half the size of Maxine's. So we can make some statements. We can say the length of Maxine's ribbon is twice as long as Eve's. You might also say that Eve's ribbon is half the length of Maxine's. If you measured, you would know that Maxine's ribbon is 16 centimeters and Eve's ribbon is 8 centimeters. If I think of this in comparison, 8 and 16, I know that 8 times 2 is 16, or 8 is half of 16. This number is twice. Let's look at some more. To our multiplication from before and our math message, our answer is 8 times 2 equals 16. 8 is the length of Eve's ribbon, and if I have 2 of them, I'll equal 1 of Maxine's ribbon. Here's our statement. A DVD costs $15 and a book costs $5. I want you to make a comparison between these two objects. How do these two numbers relate? So I need to think about how to compare them. Well, let's see. I know that 5, I can skip count by 5 to get to 15. So I have 5, 10, 15. I skip counted 1, 2, 3 times. So that means that 5 times 3 equals 15. A statement that I could say would be, is the DVD costs 3 times more than the book, because it took me 3 times to skip count by 5. Or you could think of it as 3 books equal 1 DVD. Because remember, 1 DVD is $15, and if I count by 3 books, I'd have $5 plus $5 plus $5. This is the same as saying 3 times, because you're doing your 5 3 different times. So I had already written it down, but if I think of this statement, a DVD costs $15 and a book costs $5, 5 times 3 equals 15 is the equation. Let's think about, what does the 5 represent? So the 5 in this equation represents the cost of the book. What does the 15 represent? The 15 represents the cost of the DVD. When we're thinking of comparison statements, we want to know what is the relationship between the two. So in this situation, the relationship is that it takes 3 books to equal 1 DVD. The cost of the DVD is 3 times that of the book. If we went back, here's another problem for us to think about. Scarlett has 7 crayons in her pencil box. Liam has 4 times as many crayons as Scarlett. How many crayons does Liam have? So I want you to think about, what information do you know? We know that Scarlett has 7 crayons. So I like to think about, this is going to be Scarlett, and these are her 7 crayons, kind of in that little box. Then it says Liam has 4 times as many crayons as Scarlett. So if I think about that, how many times would I possibly skip count, or how many times Scarlett's would Liam have? In your notebook, I want you to draw out or solve this problem. Make sure that you have an equation. Pause the video, solve the problem, and then unpause when you're ready. Let's talk through and see how you did. So going back, we know that Scarlett has 7 crayons, and Liam has 4 times as many. You could have drawn an array. You could have done some equal groups or made an area model. And so the comparison is another way to think about multiplication. I like to draw pictures. So again, I have Scarlett has her 7 crayons in her box. Liam has 4 times as many. So I'm going to kind of draw another box. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. If I think about each box of crayons has 7 in them. So this is Liam. He has 4 times. So the question would be, is who has more? Well, Liam does. And how many more? 4 times. If I was to skip count by 7, 7 and 7 is 14, plus 7 is 21, plus 7 is 28. So Liam has 28 crayons. What would the number model be for this? Well, in the problem, it talked about the 4 times. So that's going to be in the problem. The other number was 7. And if I look at Liam's, when I skip counted, I did the number 7 4 times. When I skip counted, I found out that 7 4 times is 28. This would be our number sentence for this problem. Take a look at this equation. 3 times 9 is 27. Now let's look at the problem below. The statement says, Will has 9 CDs. Jeremy has 3 times as many CDs as Will. Now here's that 3 times again, that multiplication comment. So let's see, Will has 9 CDs. So this is Will, and he has 9. But Jeremy has 3 times as many. So he has 3 times this. 1, 2, 3. How many does Jeremy have? He has 9 3 times. Look at that problem. That equation is the same. The equation is telling us that 3 times 9 is the same thing as 27. And that problem matches the equation. So here we just have an equation. The equation says 20 is equal to 5 times 4. Think about an equation that might go with this. Go ahead and pause the video. If I'm thinking about this equation, I can ask myself, 20 is 5 times as much as what number? It is 5 times as much as 4. 20 is 4 times as much as what number? 20 is 4 times as much as 5. So if I was to make this a number statement, I could say, I have 5 flare pens. My class knows that I love fun flare pens. But Mrs. Frondell has 4 times as many. So how many pens does Mrs. Frondell have? Well, if I had 5 and Mrs. Frondell had 4 times that many, that means she has 4 groups of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. So when I'm looking at my number, my 4 times is represented here. The number inside is represented here. And then there's our answer. If you feel comfortable going on, you'll move on to Math Journal page 53. You're going to be completing the problems on your own. Number 1 says 42 is 6 times as many as 7, and you need to write an equation. So I'd have to think about, 6 times, I kind of like to think about it that way. And then it's going to equal that 42. That's going to be the larger number. So 6 times as much as 7. So saying 6 times 7. You will continue to complete this page. If you finish, take a picture and upload it to your teacher. If time, complete page 54 as well, which are the math boxes.